Hey, Rachel,
Hello.
my hair buddy, my
Yes.
twinnie. I am so thankful for you that you came on today to kind of share your experience with Jill Ortiz Fitness and my one-on-one coaching program, Empowered Fitness Mastery. It's been such a pleasure. I can't believe our first 3 months is over. And I'm just like, thank God you're still going to be in my life and that we're not going anywhere. And that in the very end, like at least we're still going to be such good friends now. And I just want you in my life forever. And so I'm super, super excited. So I just have some questions. We'll go back and forth. And I just want to hear what your experience has been. The reason why I do this is because I know that I have people who are like my people because I attract like all these people who are amazing. And I think we end up having lots of common interests. We end up forming these bonds. And there's so many people out there like you were who want to be like you are now and are going to be just so incredibly inspired by the progress you've made, the person you've become, but also your thoughts now on the future versus what they would have been before. So I think it's so impactful for others. So I want to know, how was life before we met? Like, what were your goals? What were you struggling with? What had you been trying in order to get to your goals? You got the floor.
Okay. All right. Well, we could start way back in high school. I was really fit back then. I lifted weights. I was super active, but I never really learned how to eat healthy. I just didn't grow up that way. It's not like we were unhealthy to the max, but we weren't getting McDonald's every week or anything, but it was very, very basic foods, not fresh vegetables. Everything was like out of a can, if anything at all. Mac and cheese, hot dogs, the things our kids love today. But at that age, I was able to maintain a small and toned figure because I was lifting weights, but I still indulged in whatever I wanted to eat. Okay, fast forward to college days, that freshman 15 became way more than that. And especially because I didn't make time anymore for lifting weights and I kept up the indulgent eating habits. So I was kind of set up for failure back then, even though I didn't realize it. I was just like, wow, I must have a really fast metabolism. Like I could still stay thin, and didn't mean I was healthy. I was just thin. After graduate school, I was married. I had 2 children. I struggled to take off my baby weight, and then once I did, sometimes it would come back on. And my children are now teenagers. And after quarantine, I was weighing about 15 pounds shy of my highest pregnancy weight.
Wow.
Yeah. And I had 0 energy. I was just so much in a funk. It limited my joy of seeing people that I care about because I knew in my mind, of course, maybe not the truth, but just felt like they'd be judging me. Like, oh my gosh, what happened to her? She let herself go. I would change my outfits at least like 3 times before going out with friends, hating how I looked in every option. I didn't want to buy bigger clothes, but I did.
Mm-hmm.
And then I felt like I was wearing things that weren't even flattering to the body I had left. Like, even though I was feeling overweight, I still have curves, but I didn't want to show it off because it would show off the extra weight I put on. So I'm sure many people can relate to this, but sometimes I just wanted to cancel and stay home just for that reason. And that's silly, I mean, it wasn't silly to me in the moment, but I
had the same conversation this morning with another client about how we think people really care about what we look like when it's really just us that cares. People care about how you make them feel.
Right.
And so it's this thing that we always tell ourselves, like, they're going to judge us. And yes, people do make judgments on first impressions when they see you, but when they get to know you and know your heart, it is so important. But what they also notice is how you feel about yourself. And that's really how they judge you too, is because if it's evident that you have very low self-esteem, then it's very hard for others to feel that, confidence about you and for you, and to feel, comfortable around you when you're uncomfortable with yourself. So it is important, but it's also important to know that we are our own worst critics, and most people are not looking at us as we are definitely judging ourselves.
Right. Oh, you're 100% right on that. And I think that I also knew that I was projecting those feelings and projecting that mood, and that wasn't me, like in the past. So maybe I was afraid that people wouldn't want to be around me as much if I was feeling like that, and I have a lot of close friends and I enjoy their company. If anytime I was invited to a friend's pool or the beach, nope. I would make up something, or I would make sure I had something else I had to do that day because I didn't want to put on the bathing suit.
Yeah. And so what did you resort to? What did you start trying? Were there other things before we met that you tried?
Yeah, certainly. I tried losing weight before with Weight Watchers. I tried the 21-day fix through Beachbody, a different coach. Both Weight Watchers and Beachbody helped me lose weight, but it never stayed off because I fell back into the old habits. Weight Watchers, it had me counting points, and I was still eating processed foods. Like I would count out 29 Cheez-Its in order to have my little point allotment. I'm like, this is not healthy. And with 21-day fix, I improved my eating. I started working out. But as I said before, I just started falling into bad habits. And it was interesting because I've done a lot of reflection. I was falling into those old habits once I started seeing progress. It was kind of silly, really. I mean, I would reward myself with goodies or foods that would trigger those old eating habits instead of like rewarding myself with a new pair of jeans or, I don't know, like something that I enjoyed to do. So I just realized at that time, I think my only goal was to lose pounds, not really become a healthier person, more energetic person. I wasn't looking at the whole package.
That is a huge part of my program, right? Is the empowered fitness mastery, is becoming the person who wants to and feels best when they make the right decisions, so that the right decisions kind of become the norm. And it just doesn't feel right to be making those old habit changes again and going back to those things. It's kind of like I don't order pasta dishes anymore in a restaurant. I can't do it. As much as I see it, I'm like, ooh, that looks good. I'm like, yeah, but I just don't do that anymore because I know that is so much more than my normal allotment, and I know how it's going to make me feel. And so I think knowing what works for you and having the knowledge, having the tools, you start to become empowered to make more of the better decisions more of the time. Cheez-Its are my favorite food group, right? And you've heard me say this before, right? But I don't eat them, 29 of them every single day.
Right.
You choose and you make, you make decisions about when you're going to treat yourself. And I'll tell you another thing. If you saw, I posted my meal plan for our upcoming group. I have ice cream on day one built in because that's my choice, is to have ice cream. It's something I love, and I'm going to have it on day one so that I don't feel like day one we are starting a diet, right? And so I'm being strategic in how we're going to do that, right? Yeah. Okay, so those things, they just kept you in that pattern. You might see success because they are built for success, quick success, but then you would go back. And so what were your goals coming into this program? Was it weight loss this time, or what did you want to see?
Definitely weight loss, but more than that. So before I met you, I was like slowly becoming the person I never wanted to be. I was overweight, I was lacking energy, and frankly, I was feeling depressed about the never-ending cycle I was in. I struggled with back and neck pain. I told you I have a back injury. I know you have too. And this often caused me to feel like fearful. And sometimes I still am. Admittedly, I'm nervous about causing it to flare up if I push myself too hard, but that's why I know how important it is to build up those muscles and support my back. And I have to tell you, it has been feeling great. So I'm excited about that.
Good.
But I was beginning to find myself like not working out at all.
Mm-hmm.
I didn't even want to take a walk around the neighborhood. And, you know, I
So,
felt like
yeah.
my goals were to feel overall better mentally, better physically, and confidence, you know, building that confidence back in.
Love those. Great
Yeah.
goals. I mean, you sound like me when I started my journey. Before I became a fitness professional, I was just somebody who was at that low and knew that I didn't want to feel pain. I didn't like who I'd become physically with regards to my self-confidence, and I needed that change. And once I got that ball rolling, found the support and the tools that I needed, I mean, it just made a world of difference to the point where, I mean, it's my life now. So
Yeah.
what was it that made you say, like on that moment, like, okay, I mean, you told me, I remember you telling me, I've been watching you for a while, right? What was it that all of a sudden you were like, okay, it's time to do this?
Well, a few things. So you
It's
did,
like 5 years,
I know,
right?
I've been watching you a while. Yeah. Yeah. I don't know how long, but it's been a while. Um, well, first of all, I joined your 3-day challenge, like the
Okay.
abs.
Oh, the arms, abs, and booty, my triple threat.
Yes. Yes. And I was realizing my overall like physical and mental health were on a sharp decline just because of how I was feeling. And I needed to take some action so I could stop feeling embarrassed or ashamed while purchasing larger clothes to hide my body, like I was saying before. And so when I saw your challenge, I'm like, 3 days? I can do 3 days. Like I just thought, that's like a nice jump start. Let's see how I feel after 3 days. So I wanted to feel proud again, gain back my energy and joy in seeing family and friends. So I thought, let's give it a shot. And I did it. And it was so much fun. It was short, but intense. I was sore, but in a good way. It wasn't like pain. It was just like, you worked this, you worked that. I'm like, ooh, yeah. And you know, then we decided to make a call together, and I just got to hear your mindset and how you could help me, and it just sounded awesome.
And
So
did you have any fears though? Because I mean, I know after I've had so many calls with people, and I know after these calls, like that people feel empowered. And sometimes they feel empowered to the point where they're like, okay, this is awesome. Thank you so much. I'm going to go do this by myself. And I'm like, wait a second. You can't do this by yourself. Like it's the fear, it's different fears that start to come into play. Did you have any fears that held you
absolutely.
back?
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, my fears in adopting a healthier lifestyle was that I would either fail or fall back into those old habits again, or I would give up on myself after seeing some progress again. And, you know, with my busy work and home life, I was worried I'd lose momentum and not put myself first. And like I said, I haven't fully overcome every fear, of course, but my mindset is shifting, and I'm feeling now that this is doable, and putting myself first is more empowering. It's like the whole airplane, putting the oxygen on yourself first before you put it on your children. You have to be that role model. You have to take care of yourself in order to take care of others. And I
So,
want to show my kids that.
yeah, that's amazing. So, because you have girls,
Yeah.
especially,
Yeah.
right? So you are a very impactful person in their lives.
Mhm.
So what do you think was the most influential part of our program that helped you with this mindset shift?
Well, definitely, I always watch your videos, always watch your posts. But our one-to-one meets really, really helped that. I mean, being able to talk things through, and you would ask me questions like, well, why do you think that is? You know, putting that on me to really figure it out, instead of just telling me, oh, you feel this way because of that. You know, you helped me you were guiding the way to help me come up with those answers and for myself, and make me realize like, how is my mindset working right now? And Why do I think that is?
Mhm.
You know, and I know that there's always going to be some ups and downs on this journey, but what I like is that my mindset has shifted from, oh, this is my one goal, to this is my lifetime journey.
Mhm.
And at first, that's scary because you're like, oh, but what about all the fun things I already do? You can work
Mhm.
it in. And I'm learning that, you know, do I still go out to dinner with friends? Yes. Do I still
Right.
have martinis? Yes.
And you know, I'm never going to tell you to stop that too,
Right.
right?
I know. You're like,
Um,
you want the ice cream? Have the ice cream. Just
right?
work
We'll
it
make it
in.
work. And I think that that's really important. That's a big thing that in our previous challenge that I really wanted everybody to understand is that this isn't about the reaching the goal, because it's really about enjoying the journey and the everyday, and enjoying the eating healthy, and enjoying our exercise, and coming together, having our time, our back and forth time. And yes, everybody who's gone through my program has said that our one-on-one chats are the best part of the week. And some people come in, they're like, I am in a bad mood today. And by the end, we totally turn it around. They have questions coming in, or they came in putting themselves at a 2 out of 10. And then they leave feeling that confidence of, okay, I got this, right? And with action items. And oftentimes I like to ask you guys to give me the action items instead of me saying, okay, here's what we do, 1, 2, 3, right? And so I think that too is giving you that authority over your own journey. And I can tell that you've learned and grown, and you know the answers to many of the questions that you might ask, right?
Mhm.
So I want to know how life has changed, what results you've gotten, what impact those results have had, and then we'll talk about the future.
Okay. Okay.
Can I show you something first though,
Oh,
before you
yes,
start?
of
So
course.
I'm going to show you something. Let me just make sure that I'm on the correct screen. Yes. Okay. Here we go. Let's take a look at this. Share screen. This is your journey. Can you see it?
That's
Over the
awesome.
last 3 months.
Mhm.
So overall, we can see that you've gone from point A down to point B. And along the way, there were little ups and downs, right?
Sure. Yep.
As we're saying, it's not going to be every day is perfect and you're just going to go down, 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 down forever. Because do you know how many like instances of stress and struggle you had? Like every week there was something that came up,
Yeah.
right? And so it was this constant up and down and up and down. But overall, what have you lost? Like 20 pounds?
Yeah, just about. Yeah. Yeah.
So this is what it is of that journey,
Yeah.
right? And the thing is this is only a few months in your life, and
Mhm.
you have your whole life, and the trend is what we wanted, right?
Right.
So tell me a little bit more about these results and how they've
Right.
impacted you.
So we talked about the pounds, several inches off my
Mhm.
body. I mean, I've lost at least 3 inches off my waist alone. Um, and I've noticed other changes. One that I didn't even think about is my skin is clear.
Yeah, that's
I'm
great.
46 years old and I was still breaking out.
And
It's
your
not
hair is
anymore.
shiny and purple.
Yes, purple and blue, yes. Um, my confidence is definitely returning. I'm feeling better in my clothes. I'm
Mhm.
definitely wearing smaller clothes. And some of the clothes that I purchased for myself, knowing the size I bought that size, but some of the clothes I purchased were still a little too tight. Like I didn't
Mhm.
like how I looked in them. In fact, I'm wearing a shirt today, this little tank um I got from American Eagle. I was so excited. It's so soft. I put it on and I could still see belly. And I was like,
Mhm.
no. So I put it back in the closet and then I tried it on today and I was like, I look so good in this. It's awesome. So I'm wearing it. I know. So yes, it's the old size, but I don't see my belly in it now. So that's
Yeah.
cool.
And you
Um,
showed me a picture recently
yeah.
that I couldn't believe. Like sometimes when we see somebody like all the time, every day, right? Because you and I have seen more of each other than most of my clients too, because we actually took an art class together
Oh,
and found
right.
another common interest. And, you know, when you see somebody all the time, you don't notice the changes. But when you brought this picture to my attention, I was like, holy cow. Like, I never would have thought that was you before. Tell me about that.
I was shocked. So I have a coworker that took a picture of me sitting at my table at work, and she was just kind of trying to show like the decor on the walls. And she's like, I'm going to get you in it, because she wanted to share it with the artist who made the artwork. And I was like, okay. So I sat in there, and then she's like, by the way, I've been noticing like a huge change in you, and I just wanted to show you this picture that I took at the beginning of the year and back in September. I'm like, okay. So she showed it to me, and I was like, what? And it wasn't that glaring to me until I saw that picture. I looked uncomfortable. I was sitting awkwardly. I remember that shirt that I was wearing and how like I just felt like it was a tent on me because I was hiding in it.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I just, oh my gosh, it was nuts. It was eye-opening.
Right. So we're seeing smaller, lighter, more confident Rachel. And so what is this meaning for your life?
It's awesome. I mean, it shows me that I can do it. I have less cravings now for things like Cheez-Its. I mean, yeah, I'll eat a handful of Cheez-Its, of course, because they're delicious. But
stop talking about Cheez-Its.
I know, right? I'm sorry. I know, usually for me, it's chips. Like I love salty, crunchy, but I haven't even craved chips. How crazy is that? Like I'll just have some salted peanuts to get that craving underway. And there really isn't a whole lot of craving. I've learned how to cook a lot, like a lot of different foods, variety of foods. It's just working.
What does the family think about that?
Well, my husband loves it. My oldest daughter will take or leave some of it because she's still like about some of the vegetables, but she'll try anything, which is awesome. My youngest won't try any of it, and that's just her. That's just her. So it's not a surprise.
And how about mood with regards to either home or work or friendly? You said you were avoiding situations with friends. Has that changed at all?
Totally changed. I'm the one reaching out now saying, hey, I haven't seen you in a while. Let's get together, and I know we had the whole quarantine and pandemic thing and all that, but it's been a while now that we've been able to kind of go out to restaurants and stuff and feel safe. And now we can even sit outside. So I'm the one that's kind of initiating that now and then. And I know that would be my treat night, that I could kind of have a little extra of something.
And so what do you foresee now for your future?
Well, I definitely want to be around a long time and be happy in my own skin and be energetic. And I feel like for the first time in a long time that is in my future. I know that this lifestyle is achievable now, and I think I'm going to feel better and better. My confidence is going to shine even more.
So we are both excited because Monday we start a new challenge. We've got a month of some hard work, new workouts that you have not seen before, new meal plans and recipes. Are you excited?
Yeah, super excited.
Good. And so what would you tell somebody who might be considering working with me either in one of my challenges or one-on-one with coaching?
Definitely give it a shot. I think, at the very least, have that initial consultation and see how you guys jive together. I knew just by Jill's personality online that we would totally jive together, but you never know, once you're one-to-one, you got to see. But I feel like she's just you're so outgoing and welcoming and non-judgmental. Even when I had some not so good weeks where I kind of slacked off and fell into some of those, like, I'm not going to work out today moments. You were like, okay, that's fine, but what are we going to do now? So I just think the support is amazing. And, the guidance that you gave for the meals and knowing what to eat when, I would say, don't be afraid to give it a try. Definitely the workouts can be challenging, but oh my God, the way you coach through it, like the way you talked, first of all, I don't know how you talk during the whole time. It is hard to talk when you're working out, but the way that you talk, you always are not only guiding us through the moves, but you're also telling us exactly why we're doing the moves and why we're not doing it a different way. And then you also kind of give us like inspirational kind of motivation to keep going, and give us modifications we can make, which has been huge for me with my fear of the back pain flaring up. You know, like if you can't do it this way, or you don't want to try it this way, do this. Or if your wrists are hurting, try sitting up and doing it this way. I love how you always model that too. You don't just say it, you show us. So it's awesome. I think with the build and burn, I'm sure you're doing the same thing. So I would challenge anyone to I would encourage anyone to join the challenge, because I think you're going to really love it. And it's not like those hour-and-a-half long or hour-long, you know, intense cardio workouts that you go to at a gym.
Who's got time for that?
Yeah, I don't have time for that. I don't have time to get super duper sweaty and then have to like still do things around the house. I know that we're gonna get sweaty with this one.
We're gonna get sweaty on this
but
one.
that's
Sorry.
a little different though when you're doing like a full hour of like,
yeah,
out of breath, out of breath, out of breath.
Yeah.
The weight training is so awesome. Oh, I didn't even mention, I've noticed change in my body composition, just the way it's shaped. It's amazing how much like things are fluid.
Well, you've only just begun, child. So
it's only been 3 months.
So we've got a lot of work to do and a long journey ahead. And I'm just so glad that I get the privilege of being your coach and your guide, and the one who gets to say I had a part in this. And it's just an amazing feeling. It makes me feel like I'm in the right place, doing the right thing, because you know that we all have doubts about ourselves at times, but I know I got it right, and I'm so excited for you, and I'm excited for us together. So I appreciate you. I love you, and I'm so glad, and I thank you for taking the time to be my buddy here and answer the questions. You speak very eloquently, obviously, as part of your gig. That's your gig, and rocking hair. And so thank you. That's all I can say.
Thank you. Absolutely.
We'll be back. We'll see how we're doing in a month from now.
Yeah, take a good look at this face. Hopefully it'll change even more.
All right. Thanks, Rachel.
You're welcome. Bye.